Hey, what is going on, everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario, and welcome to this episode 2, the 2018 February 2018 edition of Mario's Minute. I am your host, Mr. Mario 2011, or Mario, or Mr. Mario, or whatever the hell he wants to call me, really. In case you do not know, this is a monthly podcast that I've started doing on the channel this year in 2018, and this is where I talk about really whatever the hell I want to. This is my own personal outlet, and I had a lot of fun doing episode 0, the pilot episode. Episode 1 seemed to go well for the most part. People did enjoy it, and we're going to be continuing on with this, so welcome aboard. This is, of course, going to be on YouTube, but this will also be on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play Music, and it should be on your favorite podcast app of choice, so wherever you choose to listen or watch, I thank you for that for sure. If you want to have any direct contact or influence on this, really, like mainly the comments and such, you can go to my YouTube channel, Mr. Mario 2011. That's where the video version is going to be. Now, this is also the first episode that I will have a guest on, and we are going to be talking about several different things. I am actually recording this segment here prior to me talking to the guest, so I don't know how the episode's going to be, and I'm doing that on purpose. I don't want to like hype you guys up and all that for it. Like, I'm going into this with mystery, so as you're listening to this right now, I also at the same time do not know how this is going to go, but I just wanted to address a few things. That's why I want to do this forward. First off, if I sound a little bit different, if the audio quality might be a little off, whatever it is, I'm actually doing this in a hotel. I'm traveling right now while I'm recording this. This is the only time that we could sync up to do this recording, so I just said, you know what, screw it. I have the internet, I have a microphone here, I'll do this from my hotel room. I'm actually put up against, the desk area here, and just to kind of cushion everything a little bit to make it sound a little bit better, I actually just have like the pillows from the bed all up against here, like, behind the microphone and behind my laptop, and that definitely helped out quite a bit when it came to the acoustics of it all, so we're ghetto rigging it up in here. On top of that, I also want to talk about feedback, so really, any positive stuff. Like, first off, I kind of want this to be a sandwich. Like, I'll give my positive thoughts, and then the criticism, and then, what we're going to do going forward to change up everything. So, of course, this is the second episode, which means a first episode released of this show. And again, I want to thank you all who tuned into episode 1, or if you're listening to episode 2 for the first time, you've never listened to this, and you're enjoying it, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And so far, this podcast has seemed to get a lot of positive reception. So now let's go ahead and get into the negative of it as well, too. Maybe the criticisms. So from what I saw, the only people that did not like this podcast are people that did not expect a podcast, and they don't want to listen to a podcast. And there's nothing I can do to help those people. So if you don't like a podcast, you're not going to like this podcast. I'm not going to apologize for that. Second, there were people that really the only critique that I had on here, which multiple people said, was I'm going to have an example of it. This transition effect right here. Nobody really complained about when I was using it to transition to photos and videos, but people did complain when I just had it randomly up there. Now, I had this same type of effect going for episode 0 of this podcast, and episode 0, I had a few people review it, and they gave me, feedback on it, and the feedback was great. The problem is the feedback was only about the podcast, which to me is important because it's going to be a podcast first and a visual second, but I got no feedback from the visuals. So when I went into episode 1, I had no idea what the fuck people were wanting from the visual department on here, and people did speak. As I said, people really didn't complain about the weird, like, glitchy transition effect I'm using for photos. They complained when it just randomly came up on screen. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to have that random effect on, just like when there's nothing there, nothing transitioning. That's totally fine. It's all good. Totally fine. We're getting rid of that. Aside from that, there was one person who, their recommendation, they kind of wanted gameplay on here. And they said, hey, I missed the gameplay on here. Why don't you do gameplay? Because in episode 1, I said I am not going to put up gameplay for the visuals. I don't want to do that because that's an extremely outdated format. The best way I can look at it, like, people look at it negatively. I have several. I used to love doing gameplay commentaries. I used to watch a ton of gameplay commentaries, and those were like podcasts to me anyways, like little mini podcasts. But the reason why I believe that it is the outdated format, not only I look negatively upon it when people do gameplay commentaries now, but I have a ton of commentaries on my channel. And there's people that watch them in 2018 and then complain about how annoying it is where I'm talking about a subject and there's a random game playing up on screen that has nothing to do with the subject. And I can sympathize with that. For anyone that still doesn't sympathize or they don't understand what the issue is, imagine it's 2018 right now and I upload all of my videos in 240p. That's how it's looked at. It's looked at as really one of the worst ways to present your content. Now, there are people that do use gameplay quite a lot in their videos, and they can do good gameplay commentaries with a ton of intricate editing, and they really tie it directly into what they're talking about. I'm talking about just imagine this podcast, but instead of whatever visuals I have here, it's just gameplay. As for any other visuals, I'm not doing webcams on this episode. I really don't. I want to use this to relax. And part of my relaxing thing is I don't want to get dressed up and get ready for the camera. My guest is not going to be doing a webcam either. Maybe we'll do webcam episodes in the future. I have no idea. But if anybody has any other recommendations for visuals, that would be great. So whatever it is. So that's the end of the negative stuff. So I guess going forward, as I said, I'm welcoming criticism. I'm welcoming feedback on the visuals, what we can do to improve the podcast, anything else. Really, though, at the end, thankfully, I feel like I'm doing a good enough job because I've really received no complaints about the actual content or the audio of the podcast itself. Like, nobody has said, oh, this is horrible or whatever it was. Like, no, the audio, the podcast portion itself has been great. The only complaints I've really gotten have been from people who don't like podcasts and from people who just didn't like certain elements of the visuals on here. So whatever it is, we'll do what we can. Again, this is still an experiment for me. It's going to be ongoing, but it's going to be improving again. So thank you all for your support. It's much appreciated. Let's get into the rest of this here. So I'll go ahead and cut into my guest. All right, so we have our first guest on the second episode of Mario's Minute. So to our guest, who the hell are you?
Hey, what is going on, everybody? This is Daniel from ModBot, formerly known as Dopeswanner, also formerly known as the Dopeswanner 930, and maybe other stuff. But I'm super excited to be on here. I was a guest on, well, not a guest, I was a co-host on ModChat for a very long time. I mean, we did 2 years, I think, right?
Yeah, it was over 2 years.
Yeah, we had that going for a very, very long time. And then I ended up taking a break from that because just not really doing and very involved with the modding scene anymore. And Mario and well, I can't think of his name right now. What's his name?
Devin.
I'm sorry. I'm shit with names, man. I'm sorry, Devin. I was gonna hear that. Him and Mr. Mario took it over and have been running it, but he hit me up recently and said he was gonna do another podcast. It was kind of more of a casual thing and wanted me to be on, and so I was thrilled, and I'm very happy to be here today and to be able to talk and hang out because it's been quite a long time, man.
It's been a minute, man. I know, like Daniel and I, we were talking for like 20 minutes prior to this, but what's been new with you, man?
Not well, I say not too much, but a lot, actually.
Like, we talk about stuff that's been going on for 20, 30 minutes, and then I ask you when we're recording, you're just like, oh, not a lot.
Not a lot, yeah, no. I mean, since we stopped doing the mod chat thing, I basically went back to school. I was trying to finish up my my classes for a computer engineering degree, and so primarily was just taking math courses. Like I did trig, pre-cal, I was in cal, and also I had some programming and physics classes. And I applied for a university this fall, which I don't know if I'll get into. And even if I do at this point, I'm probably end up doing school online. I think that's what's going to end up happening because I recently, as you know, I just got a job working in the 3D printing space. So I'm extremely ecstatic. For those of you that don't know, my channel is, I mean, I still love video games, and I'm sure I'll still be doing mods here and there, but my channel has transitioned to primarily I would say, electronics 3D printing type channel, maker type channel. So I'm very thrilled to be working in the industry, doing something that I love and I've been very passionate about now for quite a few years.
Dude, I'm so proud of you for that too. I know you got the job because of your YouTube, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, if it wasn't for YouTube, I wouldn't have the knowledge and be able to, offer the company all the things that, I know, and all the things that I think I'll be able, or know that I'll be able to contribute to the team. So, yeah, I'm very ecstatic, and it's crazy. I mean, again, all this stuff comes back from Xbox modding, dude.
I know, I know. And see, the funny thing is with the channel as well too. I was going to say that this is what I tell people. Like, we've joked about this, and I've talked about it with online friends, like with you and with people that I know in real life as well too. And we've discussed this, but we've said it. People have told us, like when I was in college and we had resume building exercises, like put extracurricular activities you do. Some people even mentioned that, like if you have YouTube or an Etsy shop or something, put it on there, show that you do something like that. And that's why I kind of like took my channel in a bit more of a professional manner. You know, I started cleaning it up, like really between 2011 and 2012, you can notice a big difference in the Mr. Mario channel. But no, with that, I mean, I would just tell people the past, let's see, the past 3 jobs I have had, they all saw that my YouTube channel was on my resume, and they all checked it out, and they all asked me about it during the interview process.
Yeah, that's the exact same thing as me. I have it doesn't actually say YouTube as the title. I have it listed as online content creator. That's like the term that I use. And then if you look in the description, like under the bullet points of my resume, it'll say, you know, basically entertained a channel of so and so and created content and this and that. And then they always want to know, you know, because again, the jobs I've applied to are all within like e-commerce, techie type stuff. So it is definitely relevant. I mean, it's different, I think, if you make maybe if you have a channel that's on knitting and you're trying to get into race cars or something like that, it doesn't really apply, I don't think, as much, but you can still put it. But I'm just saying.
No, I'm thinking of ways you can spin that as well too. Like if you're applying to something like that, you could show like, hey, this is what I've worked on. As you can see, I have like 3,000 subscribers on this channel, and I've worked to gain that through search engine optimization and marketing my videos and marketing myself and uploading what people want to know, and then figuring out proper metadata through that. And there's a lot of different ways that you're able to spin that off.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even, I mean, in the moment, didn't really think of that. But yeah, that's true. There is a ton of things that you gain. And also, I think that in the past decade here, in the past 10 years, social media and YouTube, I think it's a lot more on the forefront than it ever has been before. And it's looked at, I want to say, even a little more seriously than ever, because of how many big time even companies are involved with YouTube and things like that now. You know, I mean, originally when it came out, it was a place for really funny. I was looking at, like, do you remember the Boxy I'm trolling video?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
people were all like, "I'm trolling." No, you're trolling, and I'm like, "I'm not trolling."
So I watched that video yesterday. Believe it or not, it came up as recommended. Like, where's the Boxy girl now, or something like that. And I was like, oh my god, Boxy. So again, at one point, YouTube was all about, like, you know, little short random stuff like that. But now it's a completely different platform. There's still all that stuff, but I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of educational and I don't know, just really good content on YouTube. You can find anything. I use YouTube as a daily resource for all sorts of things.
When it comes down to it, the simple way I look at it is, a lot of people say YouTube's not a real job. Like, this is not my full-time job by any means. I'm like, but people say it's not a real time, like a real job. I was like, well, we get money from this and we have to pay taxes on it, so that's pretty real to me.
Yeah, I'm like, you tell that to my 1099 and I answer.
Yeah, it is not free money.
No, not at all. And I actually, I'm not gonna like name drop, but I know a person that just made YouTube full time, and I mean, their channel is blown up and it's huge. But again, it can be a full time job. And you tell me what a full time, what is the definition of a full time job? To me, it brings in a source of income, and you do a work in return for a source of income. That's a job. So I mean, maybe to certain people, especially more like older time, like old ways of thinking, they might just see, oh, that's just, all you do is make random videos on the internet. But I mean, hell, if it's making money, then that's a job.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, I don't know what the Webster's definition of a job is, but to me, again,
we could look it up. I'm not going to right now because I don't want to type a bunch and interrupt everything. But
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, regardless of what people think, I mean, it's a job, you know. But again, like, it's not.
Have you?
For me, the way I
oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, last thing, for me, the way I classify it, if people ask me what YouTube is to me, I say it's a paid hobby, because for me it's fun, and the money I get from it, really all it does is contribute back to me being able to do what I like to do, and makes me be able to do cooler projects. But yeah, that's how I consider it, a paid hobby. And for me, it's at the point now with again, I've been making videos on and off for probably 6.5 years, which is insane. For me, it's like a part of my life. Even if I take breaks, it gets to a point where I'm like, dude, I gotta make videos. It's been so long. Like, I feel like I'm missing something when enough time's passed and I haven't produced a video. Like, it's my outlet. It's an outlet for me.
Oh, dude, that's me as well. That's me as well for sure. No, I totally sympathize with that. I was gonna ask you though, have you heard of the podcast? What's it called? The Butterfly Effect. Have you heard of that?
It's called, what's it called?
The Butterfly Effect.
Oh, no, I have not heard of it.
I'd recommend checking it out. It's like 3.5, 4 hours in total for the entire thing. It was from Amazon Audible, but you can get it for free anywhere now from like whatever podcast app that you use. And it's all about, so I'll say this, it's not safe for work. You have to have an open mind listening to it, but it's all about the porn industry and how porn has, like the consumption of internet porn has changed the way it is created, the way it's marketed, and then the socioeconomical effects it's had on not only, you know, the producers and the actors and actresses, but even the people who watch it and just like everyday people now. The reason why I was bringing that up is because at one point, you know, you were talking about how this is looked at as how this can be a full-time job, and I agree with you on the paid hobby thing, but how people can turn, you know, content creation into a full-time gig. And at one point in there, there was one, I believe it was a retired porn actor. He was talking about this, and he had said, he's just like, no, it's completely different now, and I hate it because I used to be able to go in, and yeah, I mean, we're there and we're fucking on camera, and what we're doing is raunchy, but I could go in before a shoot, and the actress that I'm working with, you know, she's dressed up real nice, she's in the corner, like, reading the newspaper because she has some stocks invested in things, and if I have 20 or 30 minutes, I can talk to her about worldly issues, and these were all business people that were using their body to sell themselves and to make ends meet and to, you know, give them a job. And now I go and I see the people who are up and coming, and it's like two kids who just filmed something on their phone and uploaded it, and you can't talk to them about anything.
Got you. It's got it. Okay. So it's changed a lot. So it's a serious, like, I mean, in a sense, it's a serious podcast. I mean, it is. Right?
It is. Yeah, no, it delves into some real crazy stuff as well, too. So, like, of course, after whoever's listening, after you listen to this, I'd recommend checking it out. But again, one, use headphones or something. It's not safe for work. And two, you need an open mind to listen to it.
Who I gotta ask, who recommended that to you, or how did you hear about it?
I use Pocket Casts, and I literally knew nothing about it. Like, I looked at new releases, and there was something called the Butterfly Effect, so I clicked it, and it said it was from Amazon. I was like, whoa, there's a Amazon sponsored or paid podcast? I kind of want to check this out. So I downloaded the episodes, and like the first 2 minutes, I was almost like, wait a minute, I don't know if I want to listen to this right now, but I kept listening, and I was like, well, this is fascinating and terrifying at the same time.
That's interesting. I'll remember that, because the Butterfly Effect, it makes me think of the movie. I wasn't,
not the movie.
Yeah. No, when you first said a podcast called Butterfly Effect, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think it was going that direction. But yeah, no, that sounds interesting enough. Yeah, it's crazy. I think at the end, I mean, well, I think the relation you're making though is just kind of how things have changed, right? Basically, just how like YouTube's changed, that industry has changed as well, essentially,
oh, absolutely.
Right? Yeah. No, I agree. It's come again a long ways, and the is it expectation? Yeah, the expectation of quality has greatly shot up too. Because when I first started making videos, it wasn't that big of a deal to have a flip cam in my hand with hardly any audio that was shaking around, and now it's like, you know, the videos are pretty much all expected to have like a tripod or stable, you know, HD with a good microphone and stuff like that. Like the production quality across the whole platform has significantly upped its standards.
Yo, I'm kind of like sitting here low-key self-conscious because I'm not producing in 4K.
Yeah, I mean, well, when I bought the camera I'm using, that was one of the reasons I got it, was so that we can do 4K. It only does 4K at 30 frames, but I mean, I still assume that's fine for your average viewer. But
what camera do you have, by the way?
It's the Panasonic Lumix G7.
Okay, I'm thinking of getting that. How do you like that?
It's awesome, dude.
Okay.
Honestly, for the price, like the price has dropped since I bought it. I think I paid 700 for it with the kit lens, and I think didn't you send me a link of it a while back where it was like 500 or 550 or something like that?
Yeah, no, it's 500 or 550 somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's a
And
steal, dude.
I mostly know, so I was pretty sure you had it. I know Epos Fox, one of my friends through here, he uses it, and he actually just picked up a second one. But
Yeah.
he's kind of really touted it as like there are issues with it, but if you can get past the issues, it is really like the best bang for your buck in terms of a 4K DSLR camera.
Yeah, I again, I got mine now probably coming up on well, probably 2 years ago now. But yeah, I haven't had issues with it, man. I use it for all my time lapses. I just did my longest time lapse with it, which was 55 hours. And it did that flawlessly. And I haven't had any issues with recording. Again, though 1080, 60 frames per second. But no, I think it's a fantastic camera. I would actually love to get another lens for it. I don't know what lens I'd like to get, but I've just been rocking the kit lens, which has been fine. But yeah, no, I highly recommend it, man. It comes down to the price versus performance, and I think that unless again Panasonic's come out with something else, or Canon, or what's the other one? Canon or
Nikon?
Sony or Nikon. Yeah, unless they've come out with a contender for that, then I would definitely say to go with it.
Yeah, and see, I'm still rocking a Canon Rebel EOS SL1, and it tops out at
Yeah,
1080p 30, and it's great. Really, the only thing, the only reason why I would want to upgrade right now, which is why I've considered it, is to make the jump to 4K. But there's just
got
so
you.
much other stuff too. Because like, so first off, I'll tell you what my process is. First off, I'm just kind of sitting here, and I'm like, well, okay, I can get a 4K camera, fantastic, but is this still going to be lasting for a good amount of time, or is there going to be another camera that Panasonic's going to release as an upgrade right around the corner that I should pick up? And then whenever I do pick up a 4K camera, I have a very capable 4K PC, but I don't have any 4K monitors. I have 1080p monitors hooked up to it, so I would at least have to get a 4K monitor. And then
Yeah.
yeah, just the whole other process and workflow with that. I'd probably have to upgrade storage as well too. And so it's not like I just get the camera and I'm done. I'm like, no, I have to get the camera and then I have to upgrade everything else, because I've done that before where I had, like years ago, I had a 1080p camcorder, and back then I still have several videos that I filmed off that where I would literally just hit the record button and then do my thing and then stop and upload that raw footage, because my PC at the time, my laptop, was not capable of editing 1080p video.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, that was gnarly. I mean, before I actually built my own PC, I was using a HP, I think, that was pre-built that I maybe just upgraded the RAM on. It couldn't hang, dude. It was struggling so hard. Like now, with what I've currently got going on, like let's say I record a 1080p 60 frame video that's 10 minutes long. Let's say 10 minutes after editing, and everything's cut in Premiere. It'll render out in the same amount of time that the video is, which while before, if I was doing a 10-minute video, it would be like an hour. So
Yep.
it's really nice. So like a 10-minute video will render out in literally exactly 10 minutes, which I'm totally fine with. That's quick for me. But I'll do 4K. But again, right now, like you just said too, I've literally got a 720 monitor, a 1080 monitor, and that's it. Like I would have to upgrade. It wouldn't be. Well, I have the camera, but again, it wouldn't be just let's do 4K now. I'd have to get the monitor, like you said too. I've got a 1 TB hard drive that's like nearly empty, but I still would probably have to do more and potentially upgrade other things. And I haven't ever had anyone say, "Man, I wish your videos were 4K" or something like that. So for me, it's like until I see the majority of consumers make the jump to 4K, I'm pretty content with the quality I'm getting at 1080p versus performance in terms of how long it takes to render out and upload and all that good stuff.
And that's another thing too. 4K has been such a weird rollout, because even so amongst gamers, I know like 4K is probably the most beneficial with games as it's been so far. But like just zoom out, look at the landscape a little bit. We're just now getting 4K capable consoles, the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro. Several games of which aren't even running at native 4K on there; they're upscaled to 4K. It's been great for PC, and now PC it's pretty much at a good point now where you can play in 4K. But a lot of gamers that I know of, they prefer to play at like 144p at 1040p at 144 hertz as opposed to 4K 60. So they get that nice refresh and response time.
Super smooth, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people actually prefer to downgrade the resolution to get a higher response time and refresh rate on there. What else has happened with it as well too? And then, well, even so, like, so 4K Blu-ray, that's kind of a bit of a clusterfuck as I'm understanding it, because there's a lot of movies where 4K versions just simply are not possible. So you're going to be kind of limited there. And then there are some 4K movies that are out there, and the price, you know, it's a premium, whatever it is. YouTube is a huge repository of 4K content, but then as for other 4K content like Netflix, you do have to pay a little bit more. Most people aren't really wanting to do that, because every single time Netflix ups the price a little bit of their subscription service, a ton of people fall off from there. And then even the last thing, going to legacy media and TV, I've never seen a 1080p channel. The highest I've ever seen is a 1080i TV channel.
Yeah, it's not really there yet, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I mean, my buddy. Go
ahead.
Oh, just like, yeah. So when I moved into this house with my best friend and his wife and kids, we wanted to get a TV, or he wanted to get a TV for the, you know, the main room or whatever. And we went to Target and we looked around at all the TVs, and he ended up this was just a year and a half ago now. He went with 1080 instead of 4K. He just didn't see it. Like, he has all the consoles, but he has the base version. So he has like an Xbox One, a PS4, and a Switch and all that. He never like got the late, you know, the PS4 Pro when it dropped, or the Xbox One X. But we were looking at, like, you know, the different prices and stuff, and there was some like fairly good priced 4K ones, but he was like, nah, dude, I think he ended up going with, it's like a 55 or 60 inch 1080p, and it's awesome, dude. I've never sat there watching it thinking, man, and like, if only it was 4K. And don't get me wrong, you go to the store and you see 4K monitor and you're like, fuck, dude, like, you know, it's like a nerd boner, dude. Like, I mean, there's so much brightness and fucking pixels being shoved in your face, but again, it's not mainstream yet. It's not. The prices will keep dropping.
As long as it's a good one for that. And I'll say this, a banging 1080p TV looks nicer than an okay 4K TV.
Agreed. And it is. I think he pretty much, he's a big Samsung guy. I think he went with Samsung. It's a really nice TV.
Samsung looks pretty for sure.
Yeah.
Like I have one 4K TV, and I want to upgrade it eventually because it's okay. Like, it's okay. Here's my thing with it. I have a 1080p 42-inch Vizio, and I have a 55-inch 4K Vizio. The 1080p 42-inch Vizio, in my opinion, looks better.
Vizio makes solid shit.
They do, but even so, it's like I've just been disappointed with several other things with the TV, with some of the features, some of the other stuff that it had, some of the connectivity issues I've had on this like 55-inch one. And so even when I do upgrade to, I'll probably get another 55-inch, but just get something more modern and better. I'm probably also just going to change brands. Like, I'd rather get a Samsung or something else, but that's just... There's more, because of some personal stuff. It's all good stuff, but there's just expensive months coming up, so I'm just like, oh, these are things I want to do, but I should not do them right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to prioritize. And again, a TV's a TV. If it works, I mean, if you were in my room right now, like, the least techie thing that I own is my TV. It's literally fucking Walmart brand, like 30-incher that I got on Black Friday for $75.
I remember that.
Yeah, I can't believe it still even fucking works, dude. But I mean, it's been 4 years, I want to say. And again, once I move into my own spot, I'll get a big TV for the main room or whatever. But for me, I don't. Well, again, since I don't have console, and when I play the Switch, I play it on my 1080p. It's like a 30-inch or 28-inch monitor. Because my bed's so close to it, I just lay on my bed and play like that, and it's totally, like, it's great. But yeah, the only time I even use my TV is for watching a movie or a TV show with the girlfriend, which we hardly even do that now. Usually we're watching something on like a laptop or whatever in the bed. So yeah, I mean, again, eventually I would like to get my own, but if if the TV's working for now, even if it doesn't have all the features, it's not as crisp as you want. Hey, it's at least it's a TV, you know?
Exactly.
But yeah, I do think that Samsung, is, if you put it head to head with Vizio, I think Samsung's better. My thing is Vizio for me, because I owned a 32-inch Vizio for a lot of years, and my brother did too. We bought the same one years and years and years ago. And we got it because it was, I think, also a Black Friday sale. And for me, I've always pictured Vizio being kind of mid-range. It's not, there's better, but there's also a lot worse than Vizio.
Yeah.
And my experience with Vizio was, again, nice. It was, but I didn't necessarily have much to compare it to. But for me, I was happy with it. It worked fine. But again, this was back when it was 720p, and I don't even know if 1080 was like necessarily prevalent. We're talking like 10 years ago, man, or close to it. So
Yeah.
but
No,
yeah.
I can sympathize with that. I think my first nice TV, I would say, was that 42-inch Vizio. And so like my 4K one, for example, one of the issues I have with it is there's only one 4K 60 hertz port on it, because it was during that weird time frame where there were 4K TVs coming out, but it was 4K 30 hertz, and they would have like one plug that was for 4K 60. And then even so, I have some handshake issues when I play on consoles. Like for whatever reason, my 4K Chromecast is perfectly fine on that port, but any console, like, it will just like disconnect at random times.
That's really strange.
Yeah, yeah. So even so, it's like I've had this TV and I just haven't really gotten to fully enjoy it, unfortunately, with the newer consoles and all that. But oh well, it is what it is.
How long have you had it for?
Let's see. I got it early 2016, so it's been about 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not old then.
Yeah, I know, but it was during that one weird 4K TV transition phase.
Yeah. I mean, 4K is still relatively, I don't want to say new, but I mean, again, it's still,
Yeah, I remember.
if it's not
I
mainstream
remember in high
adapted,
school being like blown away by the idea of it. I think like when I was like 16 or 17, that was the first time I ever heard of 4K resolution.
It wasn't until I saw it in a electronics store where I was like, it was like a curved TV, and I was like, pretty, you know?
I like those curved TVs. They're cool. I never bought one, but I thought they were pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I necessarily like. I think they cost more usually, so I don't know
They
why.
do.
Like, I'm not gonna spend more money on a curved TV, but they sure as shit do look cool when you walk by them in the store. Like, nice curves.
Oh.
You know? It's a sexy TV right there. But yeah.
Oh man. So I have some topics here, obviously, that we've kind of typed up and everything. One of them, though, I'm skipping over one for now. We can come back to it. But cryptocurrency. So this is like, at one point I think we had mentioned like, oh, we were talking about like PC gaming and all that, and I thought of this. But with the cryptocurrency boom that's happened in the past like 6 or 9 months, what have your thoughts been on it?
My thoughts on cryptocurrency spiking in the last 6 or 9 months.
Yeah, just any thoughts that you have on it, man.
Well, I have been interested or following cryptocurrency at least to an extent for the last few years. Well, probably even longer. There's a video on my channel where I reviewed an ASIC miner for Bitcoin years and years and years ago.
Oh shit, I didn't even know you did that.
Yeah, that was back in, I won't click right now, but if I had to guess, I would say at least 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been at least 3 or 4 years easily, probably even before that, to be honest with you. But so yeah, I've been interested in kind of following it. I have an app on my phone where I check the prices every single morning. It's kind of like part of my routine. Well, I hadn't talked much about it in quite a while, and then this past June, maybe April, May, I don't know, the first quarter to a third into last year, 2017, my cousin came and visited with her boyfriend from Illinois, and we had dinner together, and he was talking to me about cryptocurrency and about a specific ICO that he had been investing in, and that he kind of had some like insider information from one of his buddies out there that was a really smart guy, and a couple other buddies out there that had done research saying that it was going to take off, and he had been dumping in like $1,000 from each paycheck or something like that into it. And so I started getting interested, and again, this last year here, I've been the poorest I've ever been, being back in school and just doing a little bit of YouTube here and there. I didn't exactly have a lot of play money, essentially. So I did do a little bit of investing here and there, mostly in some of the smaller ICOs, along with like a little bit of Ripple. But I ended up having to pull out quite a few times throughout the last year, just for, again, bills coming up, and I'm like, I need the money, more than I need this cryptocurrency right now. But the last time I put in anything at all was Ripple or XRP, which it had surpassed Ethereum for a brief moment, and now I believe Ethereum has taken over in terms of its total market value or market cap.
Yeah.
I'd put in like a couple $100 into it when it was at $1.50, and I woke up in the morning and it was at $3.50, and I was like, oh shit. Like I was like, fuck yeah. And so I was super stoked, and I was every time anything goes crazy in crypto, I always check Twitter because I love seeing all of the haters and trolls and people happy and people sad. It's really like an emotional roller coaster on the Twitter. So I was looking at stuff and people were speculating, oh, it's going to go to $10 and this and that. But I ended up pulling it out literally the week after for I think it was potentially for like Christmas gifts had coming up. I wanted to get my family something nice, and so I pulled out some extra bit. So I basically went from like $200, $250, like $500 or $600 overnight, which was cool. Which again, I know that's not a lot of money, but for me, I'm like, hey, that's a couple $100. And
you should have done. You should have gotten your family paper wallets for Christmas.
Well, yeah, but then literally the following week, I was like, oh, thank God I pulled it out, because my couple $100 would have been about $75 right about now.
Yeah, the whole up and down train.
Yeah, the crash. The biggest person I know that cashed out was my teacher at my community college. He has been holding on to some Bitcoin since 2012 or 13, and the day it hit 17,000, he pulled out 50 grand. So
Jesus.
And he wanted to pull out more. I think he had in total about I think he had like 5 to 6 Bitcoins. So he was trying to pull out $100,000, but I guess Coinbase had a limit to 50,000 per week, and that week literally by the following Friday it was substantially lower than what it was when he had pulled out. So I don't keep in contact with him via email or anything, so I don't know whether he kept it in or pulled out and like that. But it's been a fucking roller coaster with all of the different countries imposing laws against it, and then a lot of scam stuff going on. I heard things about like insider manipulation and things like that. So me and my dad got into an argument on Christmas Eve about cryptocurrency, so that was fun. Literally argument. Like we were both like yelling at my girlfriend, and my mom like tried to like break us apart, and then we both were idiots, and so we realized after we'd been arguing that we both felt the same way, but in the heat of the moment we like couldn't understand that we were both saying the same thing fucking differently like morons. So that was fun. But yeah, it's been a fuck man. I said that word twice there, but it's been a roller coaster of a 12 months or even 2 months, with it all.
See, I have my thing is because I've invested in several coins, but my thing has been this. These are my two like claims to shame, I guess, when it comes to Bitcoin. I knew about Bitcoin, I think in 2011 or 2012, and I did not buy any Bitcoin because my logic was, I'm not trying to buy drugs. I'm not trying to buy anything on the dark web. So why the hell do I need this imaginary e-currency of some kind? Because I had several friends that had Bitcoin, but they were using it to purchase like weed and other drugs and all that other fun stuff. And they were able to successfully do it. But that's what they were using it for, because the Silk Road at the time, was the biggest use really for it all. And that's when it wasn't an investment. It was a decentralized currency that could be used to remain some type of anonymous on there. So it was interesting to see. And I've even, one thing I've kind of thought of, like, I thought of some friends who've told me about it, and like they showed me and they introduced me to Bitcoin and all that. And there's sometimes I just kind of sit back and think, I'm like, I wonder if they ever sit back and just kind of slap themselves either mentally or physically for being like, wow, I smoked up like 60 Bitcoin.
I'm sure that there's a lot of people that I'm sure feel that way. And again, I'm similar boat to you. Back when I got that little ASIC Antminer, I thought, it's too late. So I set it up for the YouTube video, and then I didn't do anything more with it. But in reality, if I just continued with it, I could have made tens of thousands. But to be fair, I think that there's a lot of things that will happen in life that maybe not to that extreme, going from pennies to, tens of thousands. But I mean, for example, my dad always tells me he kicks himself for back in the day, like Hansen's, before they launched Monster, he was going to invest in Hansen's stock, like a pretty substantial amount, and he didn't. And the stock, after Monster Energy became a thing, I mean, it skyrocketed. And I mean, anybody could have made a shitload of money on that too. So, and the big thing my dad has been arguing with me is that he's a skeptic, hands down, and I understand the skepticism, and that he doesn't feel that it's going to be as free flowing as it's been, as all these regulations are taking place. And he always tells me, for every winner there's a loser, and I agree. I mean, again, for my teacher cashing out at 17 or 18,000, somebody bought at 17 or 18,000, and now look what it's at. And
I know someone whose mom bought it in like 18 or 19,000.
Yeah, so it's, again, those people are like, sweating fucking bullets, and it sucks. Like, all the people that the people that bought my XRP for, again, just $500-600, but that $500 or $600 currently standing as of right this second is worth about, I'd say, $160. So again, it's the way I have come to a conclusion on cryptocurrency in general is that it's gambling. That's the way I see it. It's gambling, sure. But it's at least gambling with some education, hopefully, like knowing what the project is behind whatever ICO or major currency that you're messing with. But at the end of the day, it's gambling, because nobody knows what's going to happen. You don't know whether you're going to lose your ass or make a killing. And again, it's so volatile with the fact that Bitcoin takes a hit, 30%, 40% loss, and some of these fucking ICOs drop down 200% overnight or something like that. It's madness. And I am me and my dad recently, when we were talking about it, we read the white papers for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin, I can't, what's his name? Satoshi, right?
Yeah.
Is it
Satoshi Nakamoto or something like that?
Yeah. Well, if you look at his white papers, then Bitcoin's failed from his initial dream for what it was supposed to be. It's, for the most part, it's a get rich quick scheme for most people.
And that's not what it was supposed to be at all.
No, at all. It was supposed to be a decentralized currency with a positive outcome. It was actually supposed to be much more stable too. The stability is a huge issue as to why, in its current state, Bitcoin can't succeed as a long-term currency in my mind, because if it's going from $1,000 up to $10,000 and up to $20,000 and dropping down, there's no stability. It's got to at some point at least find a ground where it's not shooting to the moon and dropping down to Earth again. It's got to find a happy medium somewhere.
So even if Bitcoin does completely crash, whatever it might be, it's more the network behind and the infrastructure is what's the most fascinating. And I feel like the blockchain can do a lot more than the cryptocurrency can.
Oh, blockchain. Okay, that's the thing me and my dad do agree on. Blockchain technology is amazing. It is fucking amazing. It's a whole ecosystem within itself, and it is extremely complex and very insanely awesome code. But again, it's going to have its uses, and it's not going to go anywhere. That's one thing we can agree on, is that blockchain is going nowhere.
Really? But you think that?
That blockchain is going nowhere?
Yeah. No, I'm just surprised with that.
Wait, did you misconstrue? I mean, like, I'm saying that the blockchain technology is not going away.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that it's not going. It sounded like
maybe
I had a Daniel and his dad type moment there, because it sounded to me like you were saying, "Oh no, like the blockchain is worthless."
No. Yeah, based off your reaction, I was like, no, something did not come out right, because you sound total. No. I'm saying that it's here to stay. It's fantastic. It's amazing. It's not going anywhere, in a sense that it's not going to just, well, blockchain was a thing and now it's gone. No, that technology is not going anywhere. It's unlike anything.
I love seeing the uses that it has right now. Also, I was scooting this story real quick, because I was saying this is my second claim to shame on here. Like several years ago, I want to say this like 2013, 2014, somebody had asked me, they're just like, well, I have a few $100s, so maybe instead of buying this thing, I should just buy a Bitcoin. And I was like, no, it is too late. $300 is way too much for one Bitcoin.
I said that at 700, man.
Oh man, but no, going back to the blockchain thing, like some of the uses I've seen for it have been, one of them is they're wanting to use it as a digital footprint for photography, so you can trace the lineage and see, and they can use that for copyright, and just trace the lineage of a photo itself. Another use has been also diamonds as well, like so we can trace lineage of diamonds through the blockchain.
It's awesome. I mean, it's again the fact that you can. I mean, even if they incorporate it with like credit cards for fraud purposes and stuff like that, the ability to check and make sure that there's no like double processing and that because it keeps the whole track record in the chain of each transaction and all the hands it's exchanged to. And my teacher, the one that sold his Bitcoin, is a huge, I mean, programmer and advocate of blockchain. And he made us watch like a 20 or 30-minute documentary, not on Bitcoin, but on the actual science behind blockchain and the coding and how it all works. Cause he thought that he felt like it related obviously to the, programming class in terms of classes and structures and, inheritance, all that stuff. But yeah, no, it is very fascinating. I just, again, don't know what's going to happen in terms of with all these governments, because, every time it seems like an article comes out about the government doing this, the government doing that, it seems like the prices take a shit, and then all of a sudden they bounce back to new heights, and that's what's like that was happening over and over again. I think I can't remember what other country did that too, but was it Russia?
I know Russia. There's been a few times. China's been a few times they've said things. Maybe Korea as well too.
Yeah, there's just stuff going on everywhere, so it'll be interesting to see. My biggest thing is this: if I always told my dad and like my girlfriend when I was talking about it, I said, if I had a 6-figure job, right? Let's say I was making $100,000 a year. I would say that I would probably put $10,000 in crypto a year. Like that's how I feel confident enough to where if I had it, I'd put 10% of my net worth in crypto. Mm-hmm. But I think for the people that are pulling out mortgages, taking out loans and putting in crypto, you're a damn fool.
No.
Yeah, you're a fool. To me, it's like, and again, it's not even just that I don't necessarily believe in the longevity of crypto. It more comes down to my dad's always taught me to never put all your eggs in one basket. Always spread yourself out across multiple, different places to protect yourself. Because if one thing fails, you don't want to be all in, So, again, but I'm very fascinated by it, and it's very exciting for me to see. I made a YouTube video on a brief little thing. Have you heard of crypto kitties at all?
Yes, I'd seen your video about that where you were printing out your own crypto kitties. Did you buy into any of the crypto kitties?
I still hold some crypto kitties.
Okay. I didn't. I hold Ethereum, but I don't hold crypto kitties.
Yeah. So the thing is, I found out about it in the hype. I actually found out about it in my programming class. And if you guys briefly don't know, CryptoKitties is like essentially say it's a game. Whether it's a game, that's debatable. I got to see what Webster's dictionary of what a game it truly is.
I would say it's a game.
Okay, well, it's essentially you collect things similar to what would be like a card. Like, let's just say, for example, a Pokemon card. You collect these digital cats that have unique hashes or algorithms that you hold in a wallet, similar to a cryptocurrency of some way, shape, or form. And you can trade the cats, you can sell the cats, you can buy the cats, you can breed the cats, and their offspring will have different genetics. There's various genes with them. But they were going for stupid prices. Like I think that the highest one sold, one digital cat sold for $100,000.
Because it was all on Ethereum, and I remember it was really funny too because there was so much hype behind it that it slowed down the entire network.
Yeah, the whole network went from costing like 30 to 40 cents for a transaction to about $8 to $12 for a transaction to go through, which is fucking insane. Like the transactions were timing out because of just how bottlenecked they were from people trading and selling these cats. Well, the prices went from anywhere starting at probably your cheapest cat you can get was like $12 when I was looking into it, up until, again, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And so I definitely lost probably, I would say, $100 to $150 messing with it, because I got in the peak of it, and I was instantly able to like breed and sell a couple, which made back some, but the hype died down extremely quick. And I'm still hoping it's going to bounce back because they are releasing it in China very soon here. And I think that once it hits the Asian market, I think they're also doing it in like Japan and somewhere else. They've translated the whole game. I think that it can do really well over there. I don't know that it'll ever reach the height that it did. But it is really interesting that there has been a lot of other game type things popping up. There's one called Ethermon or Ethereumon, which is basically a Pokemon game based off the blockchain where you can actually battle for like gyms, and by winning the gyms you actually win ether, which is interesting.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, Yeah, it's much smaller, and they have done absolutely no marketing. I only found it through the CryptoKitties Reddit. The developer wanted to make sure that he had everything perfectly dialed in before doing any form of promotion. Because again, if there's bugs and stuff and it gets promoted too heavily, it'll ruin the game. Like people will talk shit on it and stuff. So he was keeping it very kind of closed. But yeah, some of the fucking Pokemon are expensive, dude. I mean, when they were starting off, we're talking average price on his were like 800 to $1,000, and I'm like, yeah, I'm okay on that. Thanks though. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's interesting.
Still proves that the internet absolutely loves cats.
Yeah,
That
dude.
that was like
Yeah,
the
no,
biggest hype beast thing. It was something on the internet. It was about cats and it was tied into cryptocurrency. It could not fail.
yeah, exactly. And it literally came up from nowhere. I had not heard anything about it. Some people made some serious dough by trading and getting in just early off the hype. But I know that OP Skins, which I'm sure you're familiar with, right?
No, I'm not actually.
Okay, well, OP Skins is basically like, I believe a multi-billion-dollar company that sells video game skins, Counter-Strike, PUBG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they also have their own ICO now called Wax, which hasn't been out for too long. But they their bot purchased 5,000 CryptoKitties in the last couple of months here. So they obviously think that they're going to get a return on their investment by, spending 5,000 CryptoKitties had to at least cost them at a bare minimum 30 or $40,000, I would say, minimum. So I'm assuming that they're thinking that they will do well, but it's interesting. It's just, yeah, like you said, dude, cats and the fucking internet, dude, go
Yeah.
hand in hand. It's like peanut butter and jelly.
That kind of reminds me of. Have you heard of Dragon Chain?
It's a mobile app thing, isn't it?
No, it is. It's its own coin as well too. So yeah, Dragon Chain right now it's $1.94 while I'm talking to you, and it is a type of blockchain that Disney ended up building.
Disney backed it?
Disney, yeah.
Huh. I'm gonna just type in my Dragon Chain coin. I'm gonna put that in my browser so I can
Yeah,
look
no,
at it.
check it out. And I think I tried to buy it once, and it's like there's only certain times that you can purchase it, so they're being very selective with it and just kind of releasing a little bit at a time.
That's interesting. What's the project behind it?
I haven't tracked the project and the lineage behind it mainly. It was like I first heard of it from a like 3 a.m. Uber ride where I was going to the airport and the Uber driver and I started talking about cryptocurrencies and he mentioned he mistakenly called it Dragon Coin, but he mentioned it to me and I'm just like wait Disney like Disney really? Okay, I need to look into this.
I'm surprised that hasn't been bigger like headlines and I haven't heard of it because there was quite a few YouTubers on crypto that I was watching for a while when I was messing with it all just to see what they had to say. But I mean, they don't know it. I mean, I don't want to say they don't know anything, but they know it's all speculation again at the end of the day.
Of course.
So
Yeah. Nintendo Labo, have you looked into this?
yeah, I haven't really looked into it, but I saw the like launch trailer. At least I saw GameRanks' breakdown of the launch trailer, and it seems interesting. It's basically, from what I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like targeted more towards children, and they're essentially like cardboard not cut out. I don't know how to describe it. Cardboard cutouts or cardboard crafts that interact with your Switch, your Nintendo Switch console, and there's various ones. Like one example was a piano where you're literally folding this cardboard that you buy into a cardboard piano with keys that actually move. And I don't know if you download this thing on your Switch or if there's a thing you scan or whatever, but it looks like you use your Joy-Con controllers. I believe it's like this sensor, the IR sensor potentially, and it's accurate enough to be able to, when you press one of those cardboard keys, recognize which key has been pressed, and that way relay music back. So it combines essentially creativity along with games, and like I would say, it's nothing like it at all, but I'm going to compare it to Legos essentially, where it stimulates your mind in a actual physical creative way, but also implements like a game or again a musical instrument. And the thing I found interesting with GameRanks mentioning it is they were talking about how the cardboard things seem kind of interesting because of the fact that, one, they're pretty pricey from what I saw.
They are, yeah. I think the kits are like $70 or something like that.
Yeah, so that's not very cheap considering that it's made out of cardboard. But what they also were saying is that they could see a lot of potential uses for this for things like 3D printers, which is something that I was fascinated by because they were talking about making potentially upgrades to like some of the parts by actually 3D printing solid pieces instead of using the cardboard. Again, I don't know how that would work in terms of the light and dark and what exactly is needed, but it's very interesting. It's very Nintendo to pull something very random like that. Like it's something that nobody asked for that, but they did it.
But
And
the thing is too, they also, I remember they had said something like, we are going to be announcing like a new way to play games on our systems, and like everyone was immediately thinking, they're like, okay, VR, but like they'd said, they kind of hinted like, no, this is going to be something that has not been done before, and that's exactly what it is. It's like, oh, this is a way to play games on your console that has like this has never been done.
yeah, again, I mean, would you say, from what I see, it seems like their core audience is children?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely aimed for children. Like I myself, not only with like, I was thinking it might be 20, 30 bucks and I would have checked it out, but it's 70, so I am not the target audience, so that's why I'm not really going crazy criticizing it. I know kids are absolutely going to love this thing. I am probably, like, I've thought of this, I'll probably pick up a kit for my brothers because I gave them a Switch. Like whenever it comes out, I might just pre-order one and send it over to them.
I'll end up doing is waiting to see what I'm hoping for. Okay, Mr. Mario, is that is can I call you Danny?
That's all
No,
good, man.
but what I'm waiting to see is here's my dream. Team Executor, right? Or Fail Overflow comes out and just straight face fucks the Switch, right? And and we're able to access that part of like the whatever they're called, the labos,
Yeah,
and that people are able to homebrew some super badass shit.
that would be cool. That would be creativity coming together with homebrew, which I would absolutely love.
That's the dream for me, is that if I can somehow get my console unlocked, get access to Labo and maybe enough insight to where I'm able to learn how to do some basic stuff and then implement that with 3D printing hardware that can interact with my Switch, that's the dream. That is badass.
Which
So
that is supposed to be possible. I know Fail Overflow, they have a boot ROM exploit. They have not said, for anybody who's saying they're gonna, no, they have not said that they're gonna release it. All right, they have not said they're gonna release it. But Team Executor does have soldered and solderless chips that they are going to be releasing, and they claim to say the same thing. Apparently theirs is a boot ROM exploit of some kind, but you do need a chip for theirs, so it's going to be possible. Like I don't know how deep it's going to get into Labo, but hopefully that's, hey, homebrewers, just like work on that.
yeah, that's what I'm really hoping, honestly. And again, if the price drops down low enough, maybe it'd be something I'd check out. But I honestly seeing it being more of a legacy thing for me. Like I would buy it, and then it would collect dust, and then I'd be like, God, I have too many boxes in my room. Where am I gonna put this shit? So especially like the piano didn't look very small or anything like that. But yeah, I see parents. I see the target audience being parents for their children. Like, let's get you this. It's something that you can do that's creative and it's using. Versus why do you play that game where you just go around killing all these things? Why don't like play this or something like that? So. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether that $70 price tag sticks and for how long it does stick once the initial hype's died down.
So I've also listened to, like, did you know that Nintendo Power came back?
Maybe, but I'm going to say no in this moment.
Nintendo Power is a podcast now. So that's
Oh,
another
okay, no, I
podcast I
didn't.
can recommend. But their late episode 2, it was a Nintendo Labo roundtable, and one of the people who, I don't think he worked on the Labo, but he was definitely testing it quite early in development, and he said he just had this dumb smile on his face the whole time, like he was messing with it the first time, because he was looking at it and he was imagining, like, take, I don't know, some 8-year-old kid right now, and they end up getting a Labo in a few months, and then in 10 or 15 years they're applying to a job where they are doing something related to engineering. And if they ask, like, if they somehow get asked, what got you into engineering, they might cite, like, it's very possible in the next 10 or 15 years we'll have kids that are saying, like, no, I got into engineering because of Labo, because I got this thing from Nintendo and I could build my own stuff, and then I wanted to start building my own original things, and that eventually led me into engineering and design.
This is Nintendo's team talking about this.
Yes.
I mean, It's very possible. Again, I mean, looking back, okay, so again, I like building shit and I like messing with things, and you obviously know that, and my viewers know that. And when I think back to when I was a little kid, I was obsessed with Legos, dude. I've always been building my whole life. I used to build massive towers and like garages for my cars and stuff like that, and then mess them up and make them better and stuff. So it's possible that by doing something like that, then yeah, a kid will see, oh, I like this, and then what's the next thing I can do to do that? It's possible. Again, I'm just still, I mean, it's not that big of a deal to me, but I'm excited to see how it is responded to once it's actually hit the stores. And does it have a release date?
I believe it's coming out in April, like in mid-April.
Okay, so because I wasn't sure if it was like a holiday, like late year thing.
I
But
want to say April 14th, April 17th. Those are the dates that ring a bell in my head. I'm not looking it up right
okay,
now, but I believe it's mid-April.
yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see, what exactly becomes of it because I think it has potential. Yeah, but again, it's again for a very specific audience, which is young little people.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, go Nintendo for doing something different. Then, okay, if I could say one last thing about it is
No,
that
go ahead,
I can
please.
respect Nintendo for having balls. I think Nintendo's got massive balls.
I
They don't.
love what they've done with the Switch in the past year or so.
You what?
I love what they've done with the Switch. Like I've had to RMA my stuff several times, but aside from the RMAs, I've had nothing but positive experiences with the Switch.
It's not okay. I heard your RMA part. But you said you've had a good experience with the Switch. Other than that,
Yes, yeah, no,
okay, okay.
yeah, I have a can't no, this video will be out at the time, so I can talk about it. So I've had to RMA a Joy-Con, I've had to RMA a Joy-Con again, I've had to RMA a Pro Controller, and I had to RMA the Switch itself.
Man, dude, I'm like knocking on wood that I haven't. But at the same time, I'm sure you've used yours a lot more than mine because I really. I had my moments where I played it pretty heavily, but it's been all in my room and like at the house. I haven't really taken it anywhere. And I
Yep.
know you were saying that you were taking it to and from work, which I'm sure like being in the bag and stuff like that had an effect on it. Which
Yo,
again, that's not an excuse though for it being fucked up.
dude, so the last time I RMA'd it, like my Switch kind of cooked itself.
I think I remember you saying that. Didn't you say it like turned on and it was like I don't know, like suffocated itself or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, no, I put it in my bag, and I remember like that morning I put it in there, and it was just on the main screen, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. It's just gonna go into standby mode
Go
after like a
sleep.
minute or two. Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I checked it and I opened it up out of the bag like 4 hours later, and the thing was very hot to the touch, and the top part of the screen, just like the protective cover of the screen, in the corner, it was popping off of the Switch itself.
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, and with enough heat, it kept doing that. So I had to send it back to Nintendo because I was like, guys, this is a safety concern at this point. I really don't want this to blow up. They ended up changing out the
Yeah.
casing on it from what I saw. I believe I got the same system, but the casing is like nice and new and pristine. So hopefully I don't run into that issue again. But I've had it several times, and I was running it by Devin. I'm just like, I don't know if this is a bug or if this is just a miss in logic or what it is. But I feel like if I'm putting my Switch down on the table and I'm just sitting in the menu and not doing anything, not touching anything for like 5 minutes, it should go into sleep mode.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like a tablet, so that's what tablets do, you know?
Exactly, but no, it did not, unfortunately. So I've tested it multiple times after that, but I've tested it in like open air on a table. But now, whenever I put it in my case again, I definitely make sure it is for sure like the screen is off. It is in at minimum sleep mode.
Yeah, just because you don't want your screen melting on. How long did it take from the time you sent it out to get it back?
I want to say it took less than 5 days.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I asked them to
Cool.
expedite it as well too because like they expedited one of my RMAs before, and I was just like, guys, I kind of want my Switch back soon, please, because my family was coming into town that week, so I wanted them to play on it, which they did, and they had quite a bit of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, 5 days is a pretty solid turnaround. I was thinking it'd probably be a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, it was originally supposed to be like that, but I just asked them to expedite, so I had second day air for shipping, and then they overnighted it back to me. And every single time I've ever made something, it goes into it goes to the repair center, and within a day, like that same day, it comes back out.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, that's really cool.
Nintendo's repair centers are on point. Except I think Was it? I think one of my Joy Cons they just replaced, and I think the Pro Controller they also just flat out replaced.
Okay, yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably such a small thing. They're like, ah, fuck it, just
Yeah.
give them a
So
new one.
yeah. So two out of my 4 hour maze, twice they've done repairs and twice they've done replacements.
Yeah, that's cool though. I mean, as long as you get it back and it's not having the same issue you sent it out with, then I mean, happy person, you know.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's cool. It's
Yeah.
good to know if I ever have any issue, which hopefully I don't. But if it happens, I
Hopefully you
mean, if
don't.
it's happened that many times to you, it's probably only a matter of time.
Yo,
You know,
dude, Nintendo's customer service is some of the best I've ever dealt with.
that's really cool.
Yeah, like every single time I contact them, they're nice, they're friendly, they're a pleasure to talk to, and like if something goes wrong, they always try and go out of their way to fix it up. Like I just think of like the first time they ever did something for like that for me. I remember in college, I put in a big order for a bunch of not Joy-Con, but a bunch of Wiimotes and nunchucks. And
Hmm.
they contacted me. They're like, "We're really sorry about this, but we need you to call in and confirm your order." So I did, and they're like, "Hey, we're so sorry. We're really sorry to take up your time. We really apologize about this. We've been having payment processor issues all day. We just need to confirm this with you." And I did, and they're like, "Okay, well, great. Your order went through this time. The payment went through, and due to the inconvenience here, we'd like to upgrade you to overnight shipping at no extra charge." And I was like, dude, this is like 5 minutes of my time. You upgrade me to overnight shipping. That's fine.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, that's why
Yeah,
it's like every single time I dealt with them, like, no, it's been awesome experiences all around. I've never had a bad experience with their customer service.
it says a lot about a company. You know how
Yep.
they treat the customer after the fact when they're dealing with them.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Speaking of games,
yeah.
though,
Her hat's off.
I
Mario hat off.
yeah, Mario had off indeed. Speaking of games, though, what have you been playing recently?
Well, I've got, let's see, I bought this game probably 2 weeks ago and I'm 65 hours in so far. So, I have been, well, a little bit of PUBG still. A lot of my buddies from PC are all on PlayStation right now playing Monster Hunter. That's the big game that they've been playing like every single day. So it's kind of a ghost land for the most part in my Discord as of
Oh,
now.
that's
But
disappointing.
one, yeah, I know. And but the one game that I have been I want to say obsessively playing on PC is Slay the Spire.
Okay.
It is fucking phenomenal. It's in beta right now, but the game is essentially completed. The only thing that they're doing is some balances, but so it's like a dungeon crawler, but card style game with procedurally generated the way what monsters you'll encounter in what order and stuff like that. There's two different classes. When the full release is out, they're gonna have a third class. But the game was developed by two college buddies. One guy, I think I read the article, it said that they'd met back in college and he was working a job. One of the guys later on, like years and years later, and I think it said he quit his job on a whim and contacted his buddy from college and asked if he wanted to work on this game. And so, as far as I know, it's just the two guys that created this game. They outsource some of the stuff, like some of the artwork and things like that. But it is so fucking challenging and so fun. It is insane, dude. And so you pick your character, and again, you have cards. And so you like every time you kill a monster and proceed to the next part of the dungeon, you'll get to pick like one of three cards to add to your deck, or you can skip. And the cards can be offense, defense. They take various powers, so similar to like Hearthstone, but it's way different than Hearthstone. It's PvE, so you're not playing against other players. And there's these things called relics, and there's like 60 of them, and each relic gives you a random power up. So maybe one will be every time you take damage, deal 3 damage to the person, or gain an extra power each time you start combat. To like gain 3 curse cards, and 3 other relics. Like they're crazy, and you don't know what you're gonna get. But when you kill these elites, you get relics. There's like question marks because you can choose your path. It's like procedurally generated, but there's usually 3 different routes you can take or something like that. Via like a plotted map, and there's question marks, and sometimes when you go to the question marks, it's like a gamble. It can be a good thing, like here's a free relic, or it can be here's a crazy monster, or here's a curse, like lose 25% of your health, or every time you play a card lose an HP. So it's just so fun, but it's very, very hard. I've played again in 65 hours played. I would say a dungeon run from beginning to end takes about 30 minutes, give or take, once you start speedrunning it. I've only completed it 4 times out of the 65 hours I played, and every other time I've died. It's very, very difficult and very strategic in terms of how you want to build your deck, and the relics that you get, which again are at random, also play a huge role in whether you're going to play more defensively, more tanky. How are you going to build your deck? And it's just a blast, man. From the music to the little encounters, the bosses are insanely awesome looking, and I highly recommend it. It's $15, and it's seriously the best $15 I've spent in a very long time.
See, and that sounds awesome, like just like the inception and how it was created, and you can just tell. I'm sure it sounds like it, but I'm sure that you're able to tell that it's just nothing but love from the developers, and this is a true passion project that they had from beginning to end.
They absolutely love the game, and the community loves the game. It was getting like extremely overwhelmingly positive on Steam, and I saw like all their beta testers for it were just friends in real life. They had all their buddies test out, the game and stuff like that, and they're updating it very heavily. It looks like every week they do updates, pretty big ones. And they're also very vocal with the Steam community and community in general as to what they're doing and the progress they're making, which is keeping everybody very happy and, the people at bay, which is nice. So, yeah, I happened to see it on Twitch because it was streaming like very high up, and I was like, what's this game? And I saw it and was like, this looks interesting. And I saw the price and was like, it's a given. I got to give it a go at $15. And, yeah, I'm just, the amount of time I've spent, quote unquote, slaying the Spire or getting slayed by the Spire is just insane, dude. Again, it's not everyone's game style, and I get that. And a lot of my buddies have recommended to, they're like, I don't like playing card style games or whatever. But yeah, it's awesome, dude. And if you've got a brief moment and think it might be something you're interested in, or anyone listening, I highly recommend checking it out.
I'll have to check it out at one point. Then it's only on PC, right?
Yes, but I did read somewhere that, and again, it could be rumored, but potential, there's talk about once the game gets out of beta, they're heavily interested in potentially porting it to the Switch.
Pretty much everything is going to the Switch right now. It's like it's an indie developer's playground, and I absolutely love that.
I am in the same boat. If it comes to the Switch, I will buy it again on the Switch because it's such the replayability. Because once you beat the game 3 times, well, not necessarily 3 times, but once you beat them, because there's 3 different final bosses, and it's at random every time you play it. Once you get through Act 1, Act 2, and to Act 3, which is the final act, once you completed all 3 bosses, then you unlock what would be similar to like in Diablo as torments, and each torment, which is, again, that's not what it's called, but I'm calling it that because I can't remember the word they use.
Or like nightmare levels, you mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like nightmare 1 through 6, and yeah.
Exactly, it's just like that, and there's increased challenges. So like more elites spawn, or elites do more damage, and so again, you're playing it through and through, and there's unlocks and a ton of really challenging achievements. I've gotten 70% of the achievements done, but it's just, again, it's a blast, man. And the 2 classes play so differently. And I'm really excited for when they release the 3rd class, just to have a completely, from what I read, they're just working on the balancing. They want to make sure that because each character has completely different cards. So all the random cards that you can get are specific to that class. So again, like one of the characters, when you finish killing a boss, or no, when you finish killing anything, which there's like probably 15 fights or 10 fights in each act, you heal 6 HP automatically. It's part of his given relic. While the other guy, his relic gives you 2 extra cards at the beginning. So with the other guy, you've got to make sure you're buffing your defense a lot more. While the other guy, you're like, if I take 6 or 7 damage, it's no biggie, because at the end of this, I'll get 6 back. So you play completely different, along with the one that's more defensive has a lot of poison cards that you can poison the enemy, and so you're working on defense while slowly poisoning them over time. So again, I'm done rambling on about it, but it is a phenomenal game, and I'm not sponsored by them by any means, but it's a lot of fun, man. It's one of the better games that I have played, and has, again, 65 hours in, it's not a game that I just like a little bit. I like it a lot.
No, that's awesome.
I like it, and
I love hearing people talk about games they absolutely love, because you could just hear that passion behind it.
Yeah, it's, again, I was bit by the bug, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta go home right now and work on some stuff. And then an hour later, girlfriend, what have you done? I almost slayed the Spire. She's like, I hate you. And I'm like, all right, I love you. But anyways, let's flip the script. Last thing, quick here. The last thing, which I'm not really gonna even talk about, is that I'm getting Bayonetta 2 and the 1 digital download on Switch tonight, and I cannot wait. I mentioned this to you earlier. You said they're fantastic. I have not played them, so I know I'm in for a treat. But that is what will be on my agenda for my game time over the next few weeks here, I'm sure. So with that said,
yes. Yeah, no.
what have you been doing?
Prior to this, so we're actually recording this the night before Bayonetta 1 and 2 are supposed to come out on the Switch. I almost said Wii U, but no. Daniel said he was going to be picking them up after this, and I told him like they were fantastic, and I really enjoyed them. And really, if it's from what I'm hearing, if it's the same games except they perform better, then that's going to be an absolute treat. But I did recommend to him, and I would recommend to anyone else, like, don't just jump into Bayonetta 2. Play Bayonetta and then play Bayonetta 2. They're both short enough where, playing through for the first Bayonetta in 5 or 6 hours is not going to kill you.
Yeah, you did say that, and I will do it because I was up in the air all day long because all the reviewers were reviewing 1 and 2 together, and they were saying, Bayonetta 2 is a lot tighter. Sorry about the kid in the background.
It's all good. Yeah, no, Bayonetta 2 to me is the better game, but I'm like, no, you should play Bayonetta 1 so you have more of an appreciation for Bayonetta 2, because I played them in that order, and I've only beat each of them once, but I feel like if you have a ball with Bayonetta 2 and then you downgrade to Bayonetta 1, you're going to be like, oh, this is not nearly as good.
Got you. But if you go from 1 and you're like, man, this game was pretty damn fun, and you go to the second and you're like, whoa, this game is a lot of fun.
That is exactly how I felt when I played through both of them back to back.
Yeah, so it's the kind of the order of operations. Yeah, I'll do that then. I will pinky swear that I will I'll do the first one, and then I will play the second one following that.
See, I gotta do that with I just picked up Resident Evil Revelations, and it comes to Revelations 1 and 2 on the Switch. So I think this.
Oh yeah.
I think the second one is a down. I don't remember, but because I don't have the cartridge in front of me. But you buy them as a collection, but you have to download one of the games.
Yeah, I remember seeing that because I was watching a reviewer. Happy kids, happy life.
Happy kids.
But man, I watched a review.
I miss my dog. I'm away from home. I don't have my dog running around everywhere.
Do you have Devin?
Yeah.
Mario?
Yeah.
His name's Devin?
Yes, his name's Devin.
Okay. Sorry, Devin, again. Dude, for the last week here, man, from going to the 3D printer convention and stuff, I met so many people that just names are a fucking mess, dude.
Yo, that's what happened my first week of college. I was great with names until that first week of college, and whatever receptor of my brain that was responsible for name retention's like, no, gone, just gone.
Yeah, that's me too, dude. I've been meeting so many people, and I'll try to pair it with something, and then I'll think I'll know it, but I'll question it. But anyways, do you have Devin helping out watch certain days to check up on?
No, there's someone else who I have as the babysitter whenever I leave, and she loves hanging out with him, so works out well enough.
You said your girlfriend?
No, babysitter. Like, she has a dog sitter.
Oh, got you. Okay, got you. I just it chopped out a little bit, and I heard she loves, and so I was thinking you're talking about your girlfriend.
No, my girlfriend loves Lily as well too. But yeah. Unfortunately,
you at least have a sitter for.
Unfortunately, she lives in an apartment that doesn't allow pets, so she can't take care of Lily.
Got you.
Yeah.
Not really an option.
Exactly. Yeah. No, but
so what are you been? Well, you said again you're gonna play Resident Evil, but what have you?
I need to play that at one point, but what I'm focusing on right now. So I've been just messing around with modifying older systems, but I've been playing them a lot too, and I've been really enjoying that. So I actually I've been on a Grand Theft Auto kick, and let's see
which one or which ones?
Oh, the original 3D Grand Theft Autos. So, in December, I finished Grand Theft Auto 3, right at the end of the year. Then, this year, I finished Vice City. I played through Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, which I never did. So, I've pretty much been on, original Xbox, PS2, and Switch. Those have been my platforms recently.
That's funny. That's awesome, though, that the older consoles are still getting love.
Yeah, and the thing is with it too, I think I realize why I like the Switch. With my I'm a bit of a reclusive person when it comes to gaming. I like to do local multiplayer. If I have friends over, if my girlfriend wants to play a game, whatever it might be. But I've just really kind of tapped out of online play, and maybe in a year or two I'll get back into it. But it's just minimized so much, and it's really refreshing to go back to these old systems. And since they're modified, all the games are sitting on there. But I can literally just plug it in, turn it on, and then in about 15, 20 seconds, my entire game library is right there. I can pick whatever I want to, and I don't have to worry about an update for the system. I don't have to worry about an update for the game. I don't have to worry about any other stuff. And then, you know, I get all the nice optimization and performance stuff because they're installed on the hard drive there. But that's also how the Switch is for me as well, too. Like, a lot of people give it flack where it's like, oh, it doesn't have Netflix, it doesn't have an internet browser, and it doesn't have a proper online multiplayer. And while I do acknowledge that stuff, and I think that Nintendo needs to do more to get that out there, I also don't mind it that much. Because the way I am, now I'm a minority of gamers, I'd say, but the way I am gaming right now in 2018, I'm like, so you're telling me that this is a new system that is portable and it has some pretty good games, and really all I could do on this is play games. Yeah, that's fine with me. Yeah, like nobody can message me on there either, like, 'cause there's no messaging system. So like, oh great, I get to just like, I could be alone here. It's great.
Escape into your game without being distracted by all the other things going on.
Exactly. Like, I'll see people pop online and stuff where it's just like, hey, you have one person online. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I can't do anything, but that's cool. Sometimes it has been a bit annoying, though. Like, there's been a few times I've played, like, Mario Kart online with Devin or someone else, and I'm like, oh, shit, I can't message them. Okay, let me get my phone and text them.
Yeah, I haven't even on my Switch. I just like a couple people I know have it. Like my buddy that I live with has it. My neighbor has it, and playing them, and you know, until there's a better system. But I really, again, like you said too, literally all the titles on my Switch except for like Mario Kart are single player, or again, I'll do like couch co-op with like snipper clips with my girlfriend, or even Mario Kart. We've done some like couch co-op stuff. The main thing I would like, I don't care about Netflix being on there, but I would like YouTube on my Switch. So I enjoy being able to watch some like YouTube videos. But like you said too, I mean, a lot of times when I'm playing Switch, I'm either playing in my bed, in my room, or in my car. And it's like, if I want to watch a YouTube video, I got my phone with me. Like, who goes anywhere without their smartphone, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, so it's kind of silly because, like, all this stuff that we had criticized Nintendo for doing, even though, like, I do think, I'm not saying that Nintendo is, you know, all in the right with this. Like, you know, their Nintendo app, like their Switch app for smartphones, that was stupid. That was not well done. And then, of course, even us, we're criticizing them of not having the proper online setup on there. But at the same time, it works. Mm-hmm. Like, it just... it seems to flow well enough, and like, even as you say, you're just like, yeah, it sucks that it doesn't have YouTube or anything like that on there, but if I want to watch YouTube and I'm all the go, I could just do it on my phone. Who doesn't have their phone on them?
I mean, the thing that they did right, which to me is the most important thing, is that the console works, the console runs smoothly, the console's got great titles, you can take it where you want to, and you can play it on your big screen. Like, that in itself is a selling point. Yep. The other stuff, like, I'm hoping that eventually they do release all that stuff, because that might make a lot of other people want to commit to the console. And it might make a lot of people shut up, or maybe they'll find something else to bitch about, which is, you know, typically what happens. But yeah, I have not sat here and been like, oh, the Switch would be so good if only it had YouTube and I could message people. Like, I really don't give a shit that much. Usually when I'm playing my Switch, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna lay down on the couch and like fucking farm my crops on
Stardew Valley.
For me, it hasn't been. If you haven't played it, dude, it's so much more than farming. Yeah, Stardew Valley is coming out with a multiplayer port, and it's coming out to Switch first, and so that'll be a lot of fun for me and my buddy that we play together. But he plays on his and I play on mine. And it would be really cool to be able to interact with each other's farms, because we'll at least be able to like sit in the same room with each other and play. But he can be on his device and I can be on mine. Or potentially, I don't know if it'll do split screen on the TV, but that'd be, I don't know if, yeah, split screen would work actually. So that I'm pretty excited for, which again, I know is something that would be even better if they had voice chat though for long distances. But yeah, like you said, man, I'm not really concerned too much about it. When it comes, it'll come. But until then, I'm not sitting here, you know, crying over spilt milk or anything like that.
Right, right. No, I've been happy with my experience so far on there, and that's been out of it's dethroned the PS4 as my primary platform. Like right now, the Switch is my primary platform, and I even fully acknowledge I kind of just sit here and I'm like, look, I'm aware that yeah, sure, it's not going to be the greatest experience out there. Like well, when it comes to like graphics and frame rate and all that stuff, but then again, you know, I'm used to playing on console. I don't mind that taking that hit. If I want to get the best, I'll pick up whatever game I want to on PC, and my PC is more than capable of maxing out games at 1080p. So I'm not too worried about it, but I've thoroughly enjoyed mine. And again, it's like that's kind of where my standard is. Like right now, my interest is like original Xbox and PS2 and PSP. I've been playing on that, but I've been playing on older systems that have, you know, either had limited or have dead online services. So I'm enjoying my local experiences on that. Although I'll still bust out Mario Kart and play multiplayer on Mario Kart 8, which I've noticed that's been kind of my downgrade game. If I want to play on my Switch, but I have no idea what the hell I want to play, Mario Kart 8 is always my downgrade game.
It's funny. I have it too. I've hardly played it. Like, when I first got it, I played it at my parents' house, and then again, me and the girlfriend had played split screen here and there, but I haven't touched it. Oh, then again, I haven't touched my Switch in a while. Anyway, other than I did a little bit of Mario Odyssey the other day, just to make it a little bit further. But I'm near completion. I mean, obviously not 100%. It's fucking like insane to 100% all those damn moons. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. One game. Are you planning on picking up Monster Hunter or no?
Maybe eventually. My thing is also I didn't pick it up because I know I'm not going to play it all that much because it's multiplayer.
But I've heard that single player experience is a lot of fun too on it. From the reviews I've seen, at least.
I'm sure it is. I've actually never gotten into a Monster Hunter game. So, and by not gotten in, I've never played one. There, I should clarify that. So that's kind of how it all is for me.
Got you.
But no, I've had several coworkers and friends ask me like, "Hey, did you pick up Monster Hunter?" I'm like, "No, because if I got it, I wouldn't play it that much online. I'm sorry."
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. And I mean, my buddy that again here, he does play online, but he's been playing it since he had it on the 3DS and I think the DS and the 3DS. I played it a little bit on the 3DS, but it definitely looks more fun on the PlayStation. I wish if it was on the Switch, I would have picked it up hands down. And it's coming to PC, but they don't have a date, and so it's probably not going to be. I think they ETA'd fall of this year, and by that time, unless all my buddies end up jumping ship and getting it, I don't know if I will. It's a really grindy game, dude.
Yes, yes,
yeah, it's extremely grindy. So, and I've had my fair experience with grindy games, and I enjoy them, but they take up too much of my life. So I don't know that I don't know how much I'd really get into it aside from just going through the main storyline campaign. I'd much rather play Bayonetta.
I know, man. Like I've had that's why I've enjoyed, you know, single player games like that. I'm just thinking of Grand Theft Auto Online, for example, where now such a big deterrent is the game's economy, and it's like, so to play this game properly, I either need to have no life, spend money on shark cards, or have somebody give me modded money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's silly.
Yeah, I haven't played GT Online in like maybe 2 years or something like that. It's been year and a half, I'd say. That's about how long it's been. Last time I played it was like in the middle of 2016.
What did you play it on, PC or console?
Xbox One, so console.
Yeah, I have it. Well, I owned it on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, but I haven't played through it, and I played it that much. I like got it on one, and then my buddies, like people from YouTube and stuff, wanted me to get it on the other console, and then it came out on PC, and it was all about the mods. So I was like, all right, I'll get it on PC, and I'm like, God, I ended up selling and getting back a lot of my money. I think I sold both console ones, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, I felt pretty ridiculous holding like, you know, two versions and having the PC version. I'm like, I spent $180 on Grand Theft Auto 5.
No, I understand. I've bought it multiple times as well too. I've only played through it one time. Like I played through it completely on 360, and then I got about probably 2/3 the way through on PS4, and then the PC and Xbox One versions. Like the PC version I just got to get the PC version, and then the Xbox One version I got explicitly to play with a few of my friends that were on Xbox One.
Yeah, so you're in the same boat pretty much as me then with
Yeah,
the
yeah, but at the same time, I'm just like, well, I also really like Grand Theft Auto 5, so I don't mind supporting the developers that many times.
yeah. They put a lot of work and effort into the game. It was
Oh yeah.
phenomenal. It blew everyone's expectations away.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's amazing that it's still selling so well and that it's still just outperforming. There was a recent number that came out where it just surpassed 90 million copies sold. Like that is still a top selling. This game came out in 2013 and at the beginning of 2018 it's still a top selling game every month.
I mean, I didn't know that. I haven't seen the numbers. I believe it though. I strongly believe it. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, no, that's sold
And
like all it's getting up to like PlayStation 2 level numbers. Like I'd said this on Twitter, but I said if Grand Theft Auto 5 was a game console, it would be right now the sixth best best selling game console of all time.
It's insane.
I
I
know.
mean, a lot of people love it, and Grand Theft Auto has definitely, again, like I said, man, the game is it looks beautiful. It's amazing, the open world, and just it did a lot of really cool things. Plus, it's a lot of fun with friends, just goofing off and digging around. That's what I've always thought of games is just screw stuff for me, and using like cheat codes back in the day to get unlimited weapons.
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit, but
But
I think the connection will probably resolve itself at one point. No, I'm having fun even with the older Grand Theft Auto games. Like as I said, I played through 3 and Vice City and Liberty City Stories just now. And right now I'm playing through Vice City Stories, and I'll probably after that I'll play through San Andreas.
yeah, the PS primary console that I played it on, and then I think I had GTA 4. No, is GTA 4 old?
Yeah, that was from 2008.
Okay, and that was on
That
what?
that was on PS3, Xbox 360, and PC.
Okay, got you. Yeah, I played that one a bit on PC, but again, it was like always the same shit: kill as many cops as possible and survive as long as possible.
Did you like Grand Theft Auto 4? I wasn't. It's to me, it's the best worst Grand Theft Auto game.
Honestly, most of the Grand Theft Autos blend really heavily for me, just because I didn't play through the storylines on any of them. I
Oh,
like,
see, I do.
yeah, that's the thing is that I never did, and when I was younger, when I had them, I wasn't allowed to play them, so I'd play them late at night, and I just couldn't have audio or anything like that, so I'd play them in silence to hear if my parents were coming up or something like that.
Oh man, you didn't have the
Yeah.
subtitles on for the missions or anything?
I might have, man, but I wasn't reading them, or at least I don't remember. It's again, this is a very long time ago. I had a black and white TV. Not that color wasn't a thing, but
You
I
just had a
had,
black and white TV.
yeah, my first TV was a black and white one that I won from selling. Do you know what entertainment books are?
I probably do, but it was probably a different name where I was at. So go ahead
Okay.
and tell me what it was.
They're just like they're coupon books, and I used to sell them through my school. Like, and they have like thousands of coupons. I think they sold for like $40 a piece or something like that. But there was just thousands and thousands and thousands of coupons to like all sorts of places. And they had like a contest, and whoever sold the most in the school got this little black and white TV. And me and my dad slayed it and got the most in the school. And so I got this little black and white, like fucking 7-inch TV or
That
something
is
like
not
that.
worth it at all. That's the funny thing about that too.
No, not at all. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. But
Oh
yeah,
man.
I mean, it was an excuse for me and my dad to hang out and stuff.
Yeah,
But
no, good sense of pride as well too. Like you were able to get something awesome.
yeah, and I was really little, dude. This is probably elementary school, maybe 7th grade, but I want to say it was elementary school, like 6th grade or so.
Right, right. Even so, though, I'm thinking like in sixth grade they were giving out a black and white TV. Damn.
Yeah, dude, savages.
Yeah, because like Daniel, I've never owned a black and white TV.
Yeah, most people haven't. The
Yeah,
only
and I'm just
person
like
I
a
know
year or
that's owned
two
one
younger
other
than you. Yeah, we never had a black and white TV in our house, and we had some old
Yeah, the only
TVs.
person I know that had one was my grandma, and she had a really small black and white TV in the kitchen. But she also had full color TVs too. So yeah, I think they were just really gypping me on in terms of my payout.
They most likely did, but at that point, like you didn't care, so it's all
Yeah.
good. You were happy with it.
Yeah, dude, I wasn't upset. It was my first television ever that I earned from selling these stupid books outside of grocery stores.
That's the thing too. I get that from I get that. I don't have that sense anymore as much. I would say like when I get a new console, it's exciting, but it's just like oh the last I remember the last two consoles. I thought of this the other day. The last two consoles I remember getting really excited for were my Xbox 360 because I saved up for so long for it, and then I did not want to spend any money like at all until I got the 360, and that's what I spent my money on. And then my PSP, I remember I waited so long, and I got that as a Christmas present. But I was thinking too, it wasn't only the excitement from that, but I also got each of those systems like 2 or 3 years into their life cycle. So I didn't have to go through all the growing pains of the system first coming out and all the updates and then having no games for a while. Like by the time I got each of these systems, I thoroughly enjoyed them because there was a really good collection of games on each one.
That that's awesome actually. I never, because I know that's the thing. I feel like I missed out because you had a PSP and you love the PSP.
Oh man, I love it. I still love it. Like Devin gave me a PSP as a Christmas present, and I went to town on that thing.
Yeah, I know that anytime we've talked about PSP or PSP modding or anything about PSPs, you're like, PSP is awesome. Like PSP is love. PSP is life.
It truly is. It's my Shrek.
Yeah, yeah. And my brother had one and he got to play and experience it, but I never did. And so the only console I could think of that I got very late into its lifespan was the PS1. I got the PS1 about 2 weeks after the PS2 came out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was dirt cheap. It was the miniature version of it, and just like how you just explained or whatever about having great game library, that's how it was for me. It was like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, like all of those style, 3D platformer games. I loved my PS1. I had a lot of fun playing it, and that is one cool thing about waiting and getting them later on, is that by the time you do, it's like the question isn't, oh, what game do I want to get? There's nothing good. It's like, oh my god, which games do I want to get? I don't have enough money for all of them,
Yep. So yeah, no, I kind of thought of that paradox the other day. Let's be aware. I do think it was also, I was younger and things were more exciting and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Not only there was a big sense of like, oh my god, I had to wait like so long to earn hundreds of dollars, and I had to save it and just sit on this for months on end. I couldn't even buy ice cream or anything. I like my ice cream, but no, there was a sense of that, but also at the time, as I said, when I got each of these systems, I bought them like in their prime, either when there was a ton of good games out or just when a big flurry of games is going to be coming out. And the past few systems I've gotten, like PS4, Xbox One, Switch, I got all these systems on launch, which was the Wii U I got shortly after. Even that was good. Actually, that does play a big part in it, because even when I got the Wii U, that was like the last 7th gen system I got. No, it's technically 8th gen. No, that was the last 8th gen system I'd gotten aside from the Switch. And I remember when I picked it up, I was able to pick up like 5 good games with it. I didn't have to, just settle for Nintendo Land.
Yeah, which is fantastic. I mean, I didn't have the Wii U either. What
You got a Switch now, so you don't need a Wii U.
Oh yeah, no, I know, but I mean, overall, did you enjoy the Wii U?
I did. I feel like the Wii U was a beta, a prototype of such for the Switch, because that was my feeling with the Wii U. Like, I remember I had the Wii U set up in my living room, and there were several times I was playing the Switch like with the gamepad in bed, and I was having those disconnectivity issues, and I was like, man, this is a great portable console, except it's not a portable console. If only I could actually bring this around with me. Like, if this gamepad was the system itself, it would be great. And then that's what the Switch was.
Yeah. The Switch is literally like the successful version of the Wii U. And that's what a lot of people say too. I mean, it does everything that the Wii U tried to do and more, but obviously much better and much more successful.
And there's a lot of Wii U owners who also own Switches, and they're kind of salty about this, where a lot of a lot of Wii U exclusives are being ported to the Switch, and they're like, oh, I don't want to buy this again, and I already bought and supported this game the first time. And I'm like, look, I know you did, and Nintendo thanks you, but most people did not. So
yeah,
to most people out there, this is a brand new game.
Yeah, you're the minority.
Exactly. Well, the same thing happened. I remember with which I didn't even think of this until the numbers came out for it, but The Last of Us, for example, like I was against The Last of Us being remastered because they released it in 2013, and then I believe in 2014 they remastered it on the PS4. So I was like, "Bruh, are you serious? Like a year late, only a year later, it's getting re-released." But Naughty Dog came out and they're like, "No, we did the numbers. 80% of people who own PS4s did not play The Last of Us on PS3, and they're not going to buy a PS3 to play this game."
Yeah, it did pretty good on PS4, or it did really good on PS4.
Oh yeah, no, that's also another game that does gangbusters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one game I wanted to play. Well, my buddy that I live with, a few times I talked about it, he wasn't a big fan of it, but he's the minority as
Mm-hmm.
well. I can't remember why he didn't like it, but there was some reason. But he's a major critic. I'm a much lesser of a critic with things. I usually can find the enjoyment in most of the games, while he'll like really nitpick things apart. He's like, yeah, it was good, but I really didn't like that, or I really didn't like that. He should be a reviewer, you know.
I'll be straight up. Like I feel like I can say this on here. If people get mad, so be it. But I've tried to play I've played through it one time, but I've tried to play The Last of Us so many times after that, and I don't like the game that much.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like it for a multitude of reasons, and people have said they're just like, no, you got to play it on the hardest difficulty, or you got to play it again, or you need to see this. I'm like, no, it's nothing with the difficulty or anything. It's just I just don't like the game itself. But
Yeah,
that's
it's
that's been kind of me with Naughty Dog games. Like I don't know, I don't think it's a nostalgic or childish thing either, because my thing is I like, the Crash Bandicoot games and the earlier Naughty Dog games, like on PS1, but
mhm.
Uncharted, for example, I picked up the Uncharted collection, and Uncharted 1, everyone kind of pans over, and they're just like, oh yeah, it's not that good. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's not that good. And then I played through Uncharted 2, I played through most of it, and I remember people were saying they're just like, "Oh no, Uncharted 2 is the best. It is so good. It is truly the best game." And I was like halfway through the game, I'm like, "If this is the best game, I'm really disappointed because I'm not enjoying this either."
I mean, it's all with everything. It's like not one size fits all type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe you, based off of what you heard too, were going into it with some like premeditated expectations of what you thought was going to be awesome because of how much hype it had gotten and stuff like that, and you were vaguely disappointed. While it's better and easier, I think, to go into something with little to no expectation and being blown away by, wow, this surpassed the expectations I didn't have, but this is a lot of fun. While I know a lot of times, even with like movies or something like that, somebody tells me, oh, this movie's hilarious, or oh, this video is so funny, I'll watch it and be like, but it's a lot of it's because of the initial hype. It doesn't live up to that hype.
I've had that a lot as well too, but that even so, that didn't hit me with the later Naughty Dog games. Like that really wasn't a factor with The Last of Us um, or what was the other game? Uncharted.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's kind of one of those things as well too, where I'd read a book. It was Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, where the developers of The Last of Us, they actually thought it was their worst game, and they were terrified of releasing it, and they just thought it was horrible in so many ways. And then they were shocked when it was getting super super high reviews. And so even so with them, like they had seen, maybe they saw the same flaws in it that I did. I don't know, but I know that will get some people upset. Some people will be like, no, that's the greatest game ever and you hate it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I really don't like the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're allowed to not like it. There's a lot of games I've played and they're supposed to be fantastic. And I'm not saying that they're not, just because I don't think it's that great doesn't mean that it's really not that great. It's just my opinion,
Hmm.
It's not, I didn't get what I wanted to out of it, or it didn't grab me by the hand and pull me in. It just, I don't know. Like I mean, same thing with anything though. Movies too. Like people are like, oh, it's my favorite movie. I watch it. I'm like, it's not that good, dude. Sorry to break it to you, but it's just, I don't know. For whatever reasoning, people, everyone kind of has their own things. That's like something I'm nervous about with Bayonetta, is that I'm like, oh, I hope I really like it, because I don't like. I mean, heard all this stuff about it, but time will
I
tell.
Well, I could solve this for you real quick. Do you like hack and slashers?
I haven't played very many, man.
Like you haven't played like Devil May Cry or Chaos Reigns or anything similar to that?
Neither. No.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so really, if you like hack and slash games, you'll like Bayonetta. If you don't like hack and slash games, you won't like Bayonetta.
I mean, I like games that are usually pretty quick paced and actiony. The only thing that I could find boring is that if it's too repetitive. Like I want different, like if there's enough different enemy types and like upgrades and things that I'm progressing with, then I think I'll have fun with it. But if it just feels like the same thing over and over again and it's either stupid easy or I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty optimistic. It looks fucking wicked cool from all of the videos and screenshots and everything I've seen from it. Um, Again, I'm just hoping I'd really like to play it from beginning to end because I don't do that very often with games. I lose interest, so we'll see. We will definitely see, but I'd like to at least sink a couple of hours into it over the weekend here if I can.
No, it's I think you'll still enjoy it for sure. I would definitely want to know what your thoughts are on it as well too. But
Oh yeah,
I've thoroughly enjoyed them. I just know there's several other games like I'm thinking I know Stardew Valley that got a ton of hype and that just doesn't seem like my type of game really. And then even Golf Story, I do need to check that out. But that was actually one thing I was reading about and it was on sale recently for like $12. And there were several people in the comments that were just like, "Hey, so is this game supposed to be good? Because I picked it up on like everyone's recommendation and I didn't like it that much." And then it was just full of people that were like, "Hey, same thing for me. Yeah, everyone said this game was good, but I didn't like it that much. What the hell?"
yeah. I can definitely understand that. And I mean, going back to Stardew Valley. Normally, I would say this is nowhere near like my style of game at all. Like farming, I could give two shits about. But what initially got me to get it was one, a compulsion. It was like a spontaneous compulsive buy. Two, when I saw the dungeons, I was like, cool. And then when I saw the depth to the dungeons and like how much diversity there was with like the different mining, so like the way I saw it, I like the pixel art. I'm a huge fan of it. It takes me back to old school pixel style games.
Right,
I thought the music was beautiful. The story behind like the guy that created it, the fucking dude spent a lot of time making the game. I think it's a one man dude that spent years and years and years making it. I think
Yep.
he even did the music. Yeah, it's
Yep, because
insane.
he was a perfectionist. He's like, "No, I want everything to be perfect on this game, and I'm the only one that can do it."
Yeah, but the thing I really like about the game is that it's surprisingly deep. Like there are a lot of things that happen in that game while interacting with town folk and just exploring and adventuring and rebuilding like the fallen, I think it's like the community center. um it's very one peaceful, like it's very relaxing to play the game. I have a very enjoyment of, and then when you make your money from whatever you're doing is fun, and then you're just like scared kind of when you're in the dungeons, you're like, fuck, I don't know if I have enough like food to keep me alive, and then if you're not home by a certain time you'll faint, and depending on what
Yeah,
happens
see, that would drive me nuts. That would give me that'd make me anxious.
yeah. But again, in the end it's fun, and then there's like different seasons, so different I don't know. I mean, it's different. It's not, I wouldn't say like, oh, every day I just want to play Stardew Valley and I just want to make sure my crops are okay and I got to farm and like that's not it at all. But it is a very refreshing break from the normal style of game I play. It's fucking peaceful. I'm telling you. I mean, maybe not the dungeon aspect of it, but just the walking around the town and getting to see like what's going on, trying to find certain things and collect things, and
I feel like
the music
there's
is
only
fantastic.
certain parts of that game I would like. My thing is I wish like maybe I could like game share it with someone who owns it. I don't know, like on PC. But my thing is I'm just like I don't want to dedicate to buying it and giving that a shot. I'd feel more comfortable if like if it was possible to borrow the game from someone and try it out for a couple of hours and see if I really like it that way.
Yeah, no, I can I can understand that. I took, again, for me, it was like a gamble, and I think I actually had like a $20 GameStop gift card just laying around, and I was bored and was like, I want to buy a game right now. And I think, if I remember correctly, I converted it to like online to Nintendo eShop card, and then I was looking at like top indie games, and it was highly recommended. And I actually bounced between that one and what is it, Golf Story?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another one. But then I opted for Stardew and was just really, really happy that I did, and got my friend to get it too, and he was also really happy with it. So
And hey, it works out.
yeah, exactly. But it could have gone either way. But Yeah.
Anyways, you know what? We're clocking in almost 2 hours for this, man. It's felt like a 30-minute conversation.
Yeah, at the time I looked at the time right now and was like, holy shit, dude, it's dinner time in like 5 minutes here.
Yeah.
And I've been holding a pee in for an hour, so
Oh God, yeah, no, I'll let you go, and I need to like end up packing some stuff and everything here as well too. So everyone who made it to the end, thank you all so much for listening here. For any other future episodes that I have guests on, which there definitely will be, they're probably going to be something like this, where I'm going to ask a few questions, but it's mostly just going to be a conversation that we end up recording at the same time. So
um is this going on YouTube like as a video like with like a video playing in the foreground, or no, it's just going straight up on like
no, it'll be a video, and there will be visuals of some kind on there, but it's mostly a podcast, so wherever
look,
you want to check it
let's
out.
give people a word to type in the description if, or I mean in the comments, if they make it to the end. I just want to look back and see who made it to the
Oh,
end.
sure, no, go. You can go ahead and make a word
What's
then. It's just that was your idea.
Oh man.
I'm putting so much pressure on you, man.
Okay, RMA.
RMA. All right, perfect.
RMA. If you make it to the end, type RMA in the comments because you are a super person.
Yes,
But
appreciate it.
yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was nice because it also just felt like if we had just called in Discord and said, let's dedicate 2 hours to catching up, that's what we would have talked about probably anyway. So that was a lot of fun. I thank you very much, Mr. Mario or Danny. It feels weird. So like certain people that I'm like, close enough with, it feels weird calling them by their YouTube name. I'm like Mr. Mario, like I'm like Danny or whatever.
No, it's all good. And then it's weird, like when I hear my real name next to Mr. Mario, like when someone else says it, I'm like, oh, it's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I went to that 3D printer thing last week and like I was introducing, like they're like, "Oh, this is ModBot," and I'm like, it feels so weird calling myself by my handle in real life.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's strange, but YouTube.
I've had that at work where sometimes like, cause like people know about my channel at work, so sometimes they're like reference something and they're asking me about something, and I just shut it down real quick. Yeah, like recently it was a video one of the videos I had where I checked out a system I got from GameStop, and he ended up asking, like he saw me in the hallway, he was just like, "Hey, so is GameStop still doing stuff with their systems?" And I'm like, "Yep." That was it. Because I'm like, I don't want to talk about this. I'm good.
Yeah, that's. Oh man. All right. Well, I don't know how you want to do the outro, but
Yeah, no, well, I guess where can people find you if they haven't already found you? And by the way, any links that you want to share, I'll definitely put down below in the description on YouTube. But people can also look you up however it is if they're listening to this in MP3 form.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll just, if you just want to put the YouTube in the description. But again, my name's Daniel. I run a channel called ModBot, and I do a lot of 3D printing, 3D printer reviews, builds, print projects. I've been working on doing some more like electronic combination with it. I've got a couple pretty cool little video game projects coming up here. But yeah, if you want to follow me on anything else like Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook like that, you can find those links over on my channel, which again, Mr. Mario will link in the description. So thank you again. Let's just say Mr. Mario. Thank you again, Mr. Mario.
No problem, dude. And I was gonna
I'll
say,
let you finish up here.
No, I was gonna say I actually want to kind of like shoehorn this at the end here, but I was gonna tell you like it's definitely admirable to see. Like I like how you've been able to change your channel from console modding, what you were doing, to kind of having a random period to just completely dedicated 3D printing. You're able to do that pretty successfully, whether it be online on YouTube or offline or both. And I just wanted to say major props and congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And again, I still am sure that I'll be doing console mod stuff, but I think with combining 3D printing, it'll be more so actual like case mod type stuff, more so than anything else. But I still do, like, when the Switch is hacked, I'll probably make a video on it or something like that. Like, just because I'm still interested in it, but it's just I'm not at that level anymore of where I'm following it all because I'm so heavily involved in 3D printing.
And that's why you could tune into ModChat.
Yeah, exactly. That's what ModChat's for. So.
Oh, but by the way, I'll tell you that I didn't tell you this. I got rid of my 3D printer.
Oh, really? The Monoprice Mini? What happened?
Yeah, yeah, no. So it was deteriorating, and it had that connection issue I told you about, where like it was when it started moving in a certain direction, the thermistor would go to zero, and it was working for a little bit, and then it kind of got uneven again, so I stopped using it. And then my family was in town, and I tried to show them again, and I tried calibrating it, and then it was even worse than before. Not because the calibration, but like just everything started deteriorating even more. And it got to the point where I just kind of sat there because it was in the corner of my kitchen area.
Yeah, yeah.
And every time I looked at it, I wasn't proud of it. Every time I looked at it, I got a little bit depressed. I was kind of sad. It was this thing that I loved it. I really liked it. But
Yeah,
I
I
didn't want
remember
to
how
spend
excited
all
you
the
were.
time taking it apart and fixing it and doing all this other stuff. And then I wasn't even sure if I'd be able to get it
Uh,
to work 100%. And I just looked at it. I was like, you know what? I am so tired of looking at this thing. It makes me sad every time. I think this was a good trial. I definitely had fun with it. It's now at this point where it's getting worse. It's deteriorating because it sat there. And then when I tried it again, it was getting worse. So I said, you know what? I'm going to unhook it. I'm going to put everything in the box, everything I have. I put it up for sale for $100. An old guy who has like six 3D printers ended up buying it from me.
oh, nice. Well, at least you got, some of it back. So,
Exactly. Yeah. So like out of everything, it's like, yeah, I might have put $350 into everything, and I
mhm.
sold it for $100. And honestly, for that, I had more than $250 worth of fun. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, I remember when you were doing the coasters and stuff like that.
oh yeah, no, those were fun. Like I figured, you know what, maybe not even the monoprice version 2, but maybe so I want to get into it again. Maybe in like a
Yeah.
year or two, I'll buy another 3D printer. But I was just like, you know
Well,
what, that
it's
was a good
just getting
trial
cheaper and
run. But
cheaper,
this
man.
first one, it's not for me.
Yeah. I mean, I just got a printer in that on Amazon it's 500, but on GearBest it's 375, and it's a 7 screw setup, so literally just 7 screws, and it prints 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot and 4 inches.
Oh, nice.
So it's big, dude. It's my biggest printer, and it fucking rocks. So just if you give it another year to year and a half, dude, the prices will be even. You'll be able to get way more bang for your buck.
I'll definitely be hitting you up in like a year and a half about printers then.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be way, way, way cheaper then.
Oh,
So
for sure. Yeah. Anyways, I think this is a good stopping point here. So this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone. Thank you all for listening to Mario's Minute. Again, let us know what you thought, and keyword RMA.
RMA.